I'm Juliet Harvey with Pemmy Baker TV, and I'm here with Mike Currier, and we're going to talk about the skate park. Can you tell us a little bit about the newest features here at the skate park, Mike?
Well, back in, I believe it was last November, we decided to put in a 4,000 square foot pad because we wanted to show some progress, and kids were getting tired about, oh, when's this thing going to be built? So we had this done, and the thing that was nice about this, we paid $13,000 for the concrete itself, but we had 8 concrete workers in the area who've been doing this for anywhere from 10 to 30 years, and they donated their time to put this whole piece in, and they just did a phenomenal job. But what this has allowed us is it allowed to have more kids get in here to skate. So they play games of skate, and you can see when we take a look later, there's all kinds of little features that have been man-made and pulled in here that they can move around. But the plan is we have $12,000 in the bank right now that will go towards adding features to the top of this pad. And
Like,
yeah, well, you know, I don't know all the terms so much, but there'll be more rails and more, like they call them hips and various things. I'm not real savvy about what goes into this thing, but I do know it's important we have it.
great. There's been some changes here at the skate park in the last season. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's gone on as far as administration and whatnot?
Yeah, Alex Ray owns the property, and he has been phenomenal. This would not be
Alex Ray from the
Common Man Family of Restaurants, and you know, he's been phenomenal. Without him, this would never have happened. It was his property, and what he has done, he subdivided it and he deeded it to the town as a gift, and the town of Plymouth now owns this. What it does for us is it allows us to still raise money to finish off the things that we want to finish, yet we don't have to pay $11,000 for insurance because it comes underneath the town insurance, which is municipal insurance, and that doesn't change anybody's taxes or anything. That's just another thing that's covered. So it's going to allow us to finish the viewing area. We're going to be doing creeping flocks, which is a low ground cover that won't have to be maintained. Along the front of this, we're going to do the same thing. We've got 4 more snowboard benches that are going to come in. They're all used boards from Pat Moore, who's been another huge contributor. He's probably contributed $18,000-$20,000 plus opportunities for us to make more money. So he's been a huge piece of this, as well as Alex Ray. We're looking at putting in phase 3, which we hope to have in the first week of October is the date that we look at having the whole park finished. And we're going to put a half pipe with a horseshoe back down here, and there'll be other features that'll come off that. And that's all in design right now. We're working with Who Skates out of Newburyport, Maine, and they're the ones that put in this initial piece, the bowl and the long strip. Let's see what else. Well, and to raise the money for this, we're having 2 more events, and one of them is to
tell us a little bit about the fundraisers.
Yeah, we have a
what are they called?
Well, we have a golf tournament that we do. It's going to be September 25th, and that's we call it the Skatepark of Plymouth Invitational Golf Tournament, and we've run this about 4 years now over at White Mountain Country Club. And this year we anticipate 100 players, and we hopefully will make between $6,000 and $8,000, which will be significantly helpful towards what we want to do. And the big fundraiser, though, that we started last year was the White Mountain Brewers Festival, and we had that at Tenny Mountain last year, and we sold out over 450 attendees. Because of the demand and because things went so well last year, we're doubling the size of it, and we're going out to Smith Bridge with the large fields owned by Dr. Cody, the veterinarian in town. He's going to allow us to use that, so we're going to do a tented event on September 17th from...
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit? Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's all right.
About what is that Brewers Fest? If nobody's ever been.
There are several microbreweries. There's over 51 of them that I found registered in the state, and we're inviting them all to bring their microbrew or nanobrew beers to have people check them out. Last year we had about 12 or 13 brewers involved. This year we're looking at 20 to 25. I've already got 7 or 8 lined up. We're starting early to get this thing ready to go for September. But it's something that's been growing fast and furious over the last years throughout the country and throughout the world. And New England's got some pretty good brewers that do a nice job. We have some local folks here like Squam Brewing. There's a new one, White Mountain Brewery that's in Ashland. And we've got a number of them, Moat, and Winnipesaukee Brew Crew comes along with their wares for doing home brewing. And we're going to have them at the event showing people how to brew their own beer. We also have Smoke and Barley out of Tilton coming down. They are a beer and cigar place, and they're going to bring up their cigars, they're going to bring up their brewing materials so that people can purchase them or learn about the art of brewing. Chris's Wicked Ice Cream, he makes ice cream out of beer. And
wow.
Yeah, he was there with us last year, and it's kind of unique, and they say it's pretty tasty. I'm diabetic, so I don't try it.
Or beer out of ice cream.
Yeah. I was drinking the beer and an ice cream popped up. So, but yeah, so we're looking at bringing some more vendors in. We have this year already. Sam Adams is on board. Let's see what this Angry Orchard is coming up from Boston. So we've got 3 or 4 coming out of the Boston area. We're also looking for everybody from New Hampshire. If we go out, we may go out of state. We may go to Vermont. We may go to Maine for some. I've gotten some names of some great places. But we're kind of we're pushing for the smaller microbrew that doesn't get the visibility to come out and have people try their beer.
Yeah. Well, back to the skate park. What are some of the features here that are unique to the area? This is you don't have these in every city or town. I mean, this is unusual for the whole region. Yeah,
there's Meredith has one that's a wooden park. Unfortunately, they don't have the time. They don't have the staffing to cover to be open more often, so they're kind of restricted in that way. And then you have the skate park up at Waterville Valley that you're driving off 93 for half an hour to get there. And sometimes during the year they do charge, sometimes they don't. But this one's completely free to everybody. And it's been like that from day one, and that's why it cost us $55,000 in insurance and $10,000 for the fence just to keep this place open, which also slowed us down as far as making our progress. But what's unique about this is it's going to be all concrete, and there's wooden places.
Long lasting.
Yeah, that's just it.
More, preference given, they like it better, the skateboarders.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And the thing is, the original piece was put down in 2011. We haven't touched anything. There's been no repairs needed to be done, no cracks, no nothing. So, it's the type of thing that when we're done with the phase 2 and phase 3 in October, the town's basically got something that's not going to require much maintenance, if anything, for quite some time.
And Mike, you work over at the high school in guidance?
No, I'm the school social worker.
Okay, Mike is the school social worker over at Plymouth Regional High School. And so was that your inspiration, was the kids? Can you tell me a little bit about the origins of the project? Yeah, I mean,
I had looked at this a long, long time ago, but then there were people in town here, Glenda Toomey, who's the lady in purple with the Pemmy Youth Center, who had been talking to Steve Rand and some different people. And then Matt Eddy and his girlfriend, now fiance Lee Cooper, moved into town, and they had a board shop for snowboards and skateboards. And they were the ones that really promoted. They got 1,000 signatures. They went to the town. They worked with, they became incorporated. So they really got this thing off the ground to begin with. And they had kind of the groundwork done. And then I was approached by Glenda to help out. And I had just gotten a job with the high school, so I'd have summers free, and I said, geez, this would be great. But I had been thinking about it. I gathered information. I gave them what I had. Matt and Lee already had more than I had. But I just gave them what I had, and then I started to get involved. And, because I've lived here all my life, I was able to bring in a lot of local people, accountants and architects and construction people, and just a wide group of folks on our board that were able to reach out in a lot of different ways so we could get things going and start raising some money.
Speaking of your board, you have skateboarders on your board.
Yes.
Yes, there's one now.
My name is Brendan Hart. I'm from Meredith, New Hampshire, a student at Plymouth State University, and currently a board member on the Plymouth, New Hampshire Skate Park. I've been on the board for about a year now, and I can only say that I'm basically an apprentice. I go to the meetings, I listen to what these guys do, and I try to see how they're building the skate park basically from scratch just by garnering support within the community. And it's been great for me just to see what dedication and passion can build in an environment. So I'm really just there to learn and be a part of something that I can really support.
And Meredith has a skate park, but you come all the way up here to use this one and support it. And
yeah, Meredith has a skate park, and it's actually named after my dad. It's his memorial skate park. Currently, there has been a lack of funding for the town, like in their Parks and Rec department, and they don't have enough money to maintain the skate park, and it's kind of just dilapidated over the years, and it requires someone to watch the park, and they don't have enough money to pay someone to watch it. So most of the time, the gate's closed and you can't go in.
That's unfortunate. And I mean, as far as you know, student involvement and youth involvement here, obviously that's one of the focuses. That's one of the focus here is to get kids, give them something to do, right?
Well, that's the thing, and what's really important is this is the first park for teenagers and older ever in this. I mean, we do a phenomenal job with the kids up to about the age of 12, and then after that, if you don't play baseball in the summer, if you don't play AAU basketball, not a lot of options. You're out looking for things to do. This is the first park ever for that age level of kids and older that we've had in Plymouth. And it's, you know, I work with kids every day that are not your run-of-the-mill. We play football, we play basketball, we play soccer. Some of these kids don't do any of those sports, but they snowboard, and skateboarding is the flip side of that, where you get better at things. And the kids come down. Primarily we look at university students use this a ton. And I used to think, well, why don't more high school kids use it? But they're right in the middle of high school. They're involved in all kinds of sports at school, theater, and whatnot. And we have kids that come down, but it's primarily, students from the university and older guys that are out there working, painting houses, doing whatever, and they come here and they skate on evenings and weekends throughout the year. So it's just given another place for kids to hang out. I mean, we also have enclosed in this area is we have the Graffiti Park, which it's huge. It may be the only free walls in the state of New Hampshire, and it's on the international list for graffiti parks. And then the local bike club has put a BMX pump track around the graffiti park. So you've got young kids with their parents, older kids biking. Kids come in here with scooters and with their bikes and skateboards, and it's just to open up a whole new venue for kids to come to a safe place and enjoy and do something healthy and hang out.
Absolutely. And even WMUR was supposed to be here today filming, and they're particularly interested in the Graffiti Park. For those who have seen the Graffiti Park and don't really know what that is, can you explain maybe, that it's supposed to be an artistic...
The Graffiti Park, I did some research on graffiti parks, and the history really goes back to the 1960s. And it was more, back then it was much more related to kind of subversive, when the lights are out and people aren't watching, you go and you tag something, there was gang-related activities, and there were artists that would do that, and they'd try to find them and all that sort of thing. But in the 70s is where it started to take off more as an art form that was more acceptable. Now, what we have over here are those concrete stanchions or whatever they are, they held oil tanks, fuel tanks, back in the 40s and 50s. And trucks would back up underneath, open the spigot, they would get their fuel, and they would deliver fuel in the area. So these have been sitting here, and a lot of kids would come by and they'd tag it and they'd draw stuff on there and whatnot. And I had worked in Los Angeles. I'd worked in East LA when I was like 23, 24 back in the day. And I had seen all that sort of stuff and thought it was pretty cool. When I looked at that, I thought, geez, we got to try to do something more with that. Alex Ray thought it was a great idea. He even took his tractor out and moved a couple of tubes down there that he stood upright. And it became more and more of a place where we had artists coming in and doing some phenomenal stuff.
Now, artists clearly have been there, tagging it or drawing on it. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
Anybody can use it, right?
Absolutely. The free walls. I have gotten phone calls. Me, what I've done is there've been some inappropriate stuff there that I've gone over. Oh, okay. So that's what
you've marked it in your own way.
I've marked it my own way. Like, we don't need this here. So we encourage everybody to do it for the sake of art and not for political comment or for inappropriate language and so on and behaviors. And then the true artists are pretty good about that. I talked to them about that. I said, listen, if you guys see something, just cover it up. And they've been very, very good about that. And it's generally any issues we've ever had with the skate park or the graffiti park it tends to be younger kids that don't really have a lot of talent, but they certainly want to be known for, being different. And I've explained to them, I'll put them out there if they want to, be recognized. I'd be happy to put them in front of everybody so they can be recognized. But
Do you have a competition for them? Or last year you did?
yeah, I tried to. The graffiti battle is something they do in San Francisco. There's a huge one they do in the park out there, and they get artists from all over the place. And they use 8x8 canvases, and they give them a certain number of colors. They give them a theme to use in their drawing, their creation, and they have at it. And then what they do generally is they'll sell those to raise money. Well, I tried to do something similar here, but these guys tend to they don't care who knows them or sees them. They like to do their work, their art, and have it out there for people to see. Mm-hmm. It was like herding cats. I just couldn't get anybody to really get together and get half a dozen guys to compete. They're really not about competing. They're more about accepting their art and other people's art, and they don't really care if they're known or not. People get to know them in the business, so to speak, by their particular styles or MOs and how they do things.
So they remain unseen and unknown.
Pretty much, because a lot of the work is done on weekends or in the late evenings, and I think a lot of that is because most of these guys have full-time jobs and they work, so they come up here when they can in their time and they do it. I don't know. There's not a lot of young people that do this around here, but the older guys who are that's their passion. They come down here and they can afford the paint. I mean, there's a financial piece to it as well. Do not forget the White Mountain Brewers Festival.
And how best to buy tickets for the White Mountain Brewers Festival? We're
setting up Eventbrite with our website right now. The website is going to be whitemountainsbrewersfestival.com, and it'll take you to our site. It's being constructed right now. I'm not sure if it's quite open. We have somebody working on that, but that will be where all the information is, where you can purchase tickets. You can also purchase tickets by contacting me at 254-7965, or just go down to the Cafe Monte Alto. They can find me. But
will they be accepting money for the tickets or selling them at all?
No, I'll take care of that. But we'll be set up on Eventbrite.
Directly.
Yeah, anybody can. And we've already got. I've posted it on Facebook. We've got I think over 20 people that have already decided they're going to come. It's September 17th, so it's a ways away, but we want to get things out there early, and we're doing all kinds of marketing things to get it out there and promote it. And hopefully we'll raise the money we need. We need about $35,000 total, and we've worked our numbers to, if we're successful, we'll raise that. And we've also got the golf tournament, and we're accepting any kind of donations towards finishing up the park.
We'll get, if it comes out good, then. Okay.
Perfect.